Hope. That word triggers so many different emotions in the human experience, and it is a theme that game developers have been putting into JRPGs for decades now. That moment when it seems like all is lost and there is no light. That moment when the evil villain has all but won and the heroes don't know what else to do. We are taught, through those games, to cling to hope. There is always hope. Grandia 2 is a story of hope, sacrifice, and redemption that impacted me when I was 15 years old, playing the title for the first time on the Sega Dreamcast in 2002. As a teenager, I had only experienced one other Japanese role-playing game of note, and that was Super Mario RPG, before my friend Joel told me about a game that I had to play on my new-to-me Dreamcast. In 2002, he told me that this awesome game called Grandia 2 was on sale at the neighboring town's Walmart for $20. I convinced my dad to come with me so I could drive the 20 minutes because I didn't have my driver's license yet and needed more driving hours on my learner's permit. Finding a copy of Grandia 2 on the shelf at that Walmart was like the completion of a quest that I had no idea would work out. As I drove to that neighboring town, all I could do was hope they still had a copy. In the following week, I experienced a game that is now so very special to me. If someone asked me my top 5 JRPGs of all time, Grandia 2 is always there. When I played the original release of this game on the Dreamcast, I thought it was a perfect game that launched me into my love of JRPGs. However, this isn't a review of Grandia 2 for the Dreamcast, but instead the HD Remaster by Gung Ho Online Entertainment for the Nintendo Switch and Steam. Does the game hold up? Did they remaster the classic well? Does the story of despair and hope still have the same impact? Let's find out. Grandia 2 starts out by introducing you to the protagonist and setting up what kind of person Ryudo is, his motivations, and the fact that his occupation as a geohound, this world's version of a mercenary type, doesn't have very many friends at all. From the very beginning, you learn that his kind is an unwanted person in many social circles, but that his skills are certainly needed to get things done. Ryudo isn't an edgy anti-hero in any respect, yet you quickly learn that his heart is hard and calloused, and this expresses itself in the way he interacts with Elena, a songstress of Granis that he is tasked with escorting throughout the world on her mission. Ryudo's past has stripped him from hope. You very quickly realize that most of the citizens in Grandia 2 are broken people, all carrying with them burdens brought on by their own sins or the sins of others. This serves as the day-to-day realization that there was once a massive battle between their gods of light and darkness that has permanently changed their world. They also live under the impending doom that this day of darkness could happen again at any time. Elena is ever faithful and always desires to help those in need, and she often puts Ryudo and their party in harm's way to be a good neighbor, as they discover what exactly is going on in this world, the reason why, and how to stop it. Elena is selfless and kind, the perfect counterpart to Ryudo's standoffish nature. Grandia 2's story is full of tropes from this era of games and anime, but that doesn't mean that it is a bad game because of it. All the party members go through significant life change because of the events of the story, and by the end of the game, you're cheering for them as they finally discover what must be done to put an end to things. Yes, the same moments that had 15-year-old DrLevelUp sitting in front of his old tube television with goosebumps on his arms, a smile on his face, or tears in his eyes still hit in 2021 as I played through the high-definition upgrade. Those experiences of connecting with the characters, their struggles, and their victories still resonated with me today. The moments when hope shone through the darkness were some of the best in JRPG history, at least in my opinion. This whole experience is brought home by what I consider to be one of the best soundtracks ever, with a battle theme that I never ever get tired of hearing. However, while the soundtrack is amazing and still fits the scenes, cities, and scenery perfectly, this is where you actually run into one of the problems with the HD Remaster. If you're on the field map or perhaps in a boss battle and the entire length of the song for that area or battle plays, It will finish where it's supposed to, there'll be a minuscule pause in music, and they'll just start all over again. There's no natural looping of any kind. It's a small distraction from the experience, but it is still worth noting. The bustling port cities or ancient villages are all perfectly scored by songs that not only express the environment, but also the situation each of the cities find themselves in. Every time you visit a new area to traverse, another fantastic musical track is there to greet you. And then, when things begin to go wrong, and those guitar riffs hit your ears, and the hairs on your arms stand up on end, you feel an adrenaline rush to survive and thrive, no matter the challenge that the game throws at you. The music plays such a vital role in the experience, and I believe stands up perfectly today. That battle theme is my favorite, and the battle system itself is one that I believe is one of the best turn-based battle systems out there. Cue the music. Every Grandia game, including the original and Grandia 3, all use a very similar battle system, where the heroes and their enemies move on a timeline called the action bar. When the battle begins, icons that represent your party members and the foes they are fighting start on the wait side on the left of the action bar, and you begin to slowly advance. Once you hit the command mark, you pick an action to complete. You can go in for a normal attack, critical attack, special attack, or magical attack. You can also use various items in your inventory. However, you don't immediately execute this attack. Your normal weapon-based attacks and critical attacks execute quicker, where special or magic can take some time to cast before hitting the action mark. After a party member or an enemy has completed an action, their icon goes back to the beginning to go again, if they're still alive on the field. With this simple explanation of the battle system behind us, let me explain to you exactly why I love it. Critical attacks and some special attacks can cancel out enemy moves, keeping them from hurting your party. Is a boss about to execute an attack for massive damage? Cancel it. If you're fast enough and you have enough energy, that is. There is a depth to the turn-based battle system that allows you to try to negate damage and succeed without even taking a hit. However, it should be noted that the same advantage you have to cancel an attack can also be done to you by one of the enemies. Various heroes are equipped with special attacks and spells to increase your speed and decrease casting time, which is very helpful against bosses where battles can take quite some time. Beyond the basics of the battle system, each of your party members can equip mana eggs, which allow you to use magic. Different eggs have specialties, some focusing on elemental spells for both offense and defense, buff and debuff. Some others focus more heavily on healing. You have a lot of options here, deciding which characters you want to do more damage, while others focus more on healing or enemy debuffs. Any mana egg can be equipped to any of your party members. As you level up, not only do your characters receive basic stat increases per level, but you also earn coins which allow you to upgrade your mana eggs attacks, upgrade your character's special attacks, and also unlock and upgrade skills in your skill book. That allows further upgrades to your character. Any character can equip any skill and any mana egg, allowing you to create a party that is to your liking. The only thing that is exclusive to each character are their weapon types, some armor, and of course their special attacks. My approach to the battle system is nearly always all-out damage. Can I destroy every enemy with an area of effect magic attack before they can even touch me? Can Ryudo and team cancel every attack and dominate the battlefield? I turn every encounter into a miniature puzzle, trying to determine what attacks will damage the enemies the most so that I never even get hit with a single point of damage. That strategy doesn't work in boss battles though. You've got to slow down, take your time, and make sure you don't get hit with devastating attacks. The battle system is addictive, and I never got tired of an encounter. Often, once I learned an enemy type's weakness, I'm able to go through the battle so quickly it's as if they barely even happened. By the end of my playthrough, my party was ridiculously overpowered, which I always think makes for a fun ending. They ought to be able to take on the final boss after all the training they did. Much about Grandia 2's battle and leveling system is standard JRPG fare. You level up, earn gold, buy new gear. You explore the dungeon, find gear, equip it. There is always something new to explore in Grandia, with each environment on the overworld map not outsaying its welcome too long. None of the environments feel the same either. As the story progresses, you visit some very interesting places that all have their own design, monsters, and bosses. There is some recycling of smaller enemies, changing only the color and their damage output later on in the game, but it's minimal and thankfully doesn't happen with the bosses at all. My biggest complaint about Grandia 2's HD Remaster is actually my biggest complaint in the original version on the Sega Dreamcast. It's way too easy to get lost in some of the dungeons as you circle round and round, trying to figure out which path or direction that you missed. The camera angle doesn't help with this problem, often leaving you turning it again round and around, trying to figure out exactly what you might have missed. It's not impossible, and the dungeons are filled with enough save points that allow you to recover health and magic that it isn't too annoying, but it's something you should know going in. I truly cannot recommend this game enough. Although it always receives positive reviews, I think this game is a hidden gem. Not enough people have played the remaster that's on Switch and PC. Not enough people have gotten to experience Ryuta finding closure, or Elena discovering her destiny, and all of their friends discovering their place in this world torn by darkness. Grandia 2 is the game that solidified my love of JRPGs and had me seeking them out on a regular basis for the last 17... Wait, no. How about like the last nearly 20 years? I'd love to know down in the comments below what JRPG made you love the genre. Also, have you played Grandia 2 yet? If so, what did you think? Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.